Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Mike and today we are going to be talking about my most disappointing products of 2020. I don't think I've ever done a video like this, but when I started thinking of products that I had tried that they just weren't really right for what I want from a makeup product sometimes, I figured that I just had to do a video talking about the products that I tried, but that sadly didn't work for me. And I would like to stress at the start of this video that that's the place where I'm coming from with all of these products, is that I went into these products with certain expectations, and these products just didn't give me what I expected, based either on marketing promises or just because what the product does and what my skin likes just don't really go very well together. So that's why I have 10 here, but I have one honorable mention. Well, not so honorable perhaps, but I have 10 products that I feel very solidly about, and then one product that I haven't reviewed yet, but that will be coming up in a video at the start of the new year, that I already wanted to put in this video to let you know that it didn't really work out for me and why. So let's start with complexion products first. So when it comes to complexion products, I was very much sad to say that two of the brands that I normally very much trust when it comes to makeup didn't really work for me. So, and that's by Catrice and Maybelline. So I have mostly Catrice stuff here. So I'm going to talk about Maybelline first. This is their Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation. And I think this was re-released in the US this year. It was reformulated in Europe, or at least repackaged. And I bought this because their old Dream Liquid Foundation was one of my favorites. It just didn't come in a shade that worked for my very fair skin. So I got this in the shade True Ivory, and the shade was okay. It wasn't as hydrating as I remember this being. It was just a bit strange. This is just a completely different foundation than what they used to have in my book. So for me, it didn't really work. I have a drier, dry, dehydrated skin. And for me, it's very important that a foundation has a hydrating factor, because else everything just starts looking very cakey on me. This, I think, if you have normal skin, then it's fine. But for my dry skin type, it sadly didn't work. However, I can see a lot of people loving this foundation, and it actually goes for the next one I would like to talk to you about as well. That the product itself isn't bad. It's just that it just pulled into some fine lines. It really showed texture around my nose. It wasn't a good one. It wasn't my favorite. And can you guess, I'm lumping these together as one product because they're from the same line and by the same brand, but the Catrice True Skin Foundation and Concealer sadly did not work for me. These are also marketed as hydrating products, especially the foundation. Both of them have hyaluronic acid in there. I think I have them in the same shade. The concealer is 002 Neutral Ivory, and so is the foundation, 002 Neutral Ivory. When I bought these, they were both a little bit too light, but by the end, by the time I really started to try these and really review them, it was like a month later, and they were, the shade was a pretty good match. It's just that these just aren't that hydrating for my dry skin. It's just not hydrating enough. I still prefer the Catrice, what's it called? HD Radiant Liquid, HD Liquid Radiance, whatever. It's the one not in the black bottle with the dropper, but the red one. That one I love. That's very dewy. This just wasn't. So this was released with quite a lot of plump for what Catrice usually does, and I was hoping that this could replace the liquid camouflage for me. It just didn't. The liquid camouflage still works best on me. And the True Skin Foundation, I know people with more normal skin that this looks really, really great on, but on me, it just, especially, at first it looks okay. The same with the Maybelline. When it first goes on, it looks okay, but it's after an hour or 2 hours of wear that I can start seeing pores appearing, and it pulls around my nose, and it sort of pulls into like that little crease that I have here on my chin. It's just not staying put the way I know a lot of Catrice foundations even have done for me in the past. So that's why this one sadly needs to go into this video. And another Catrice product, and this is the Poreless Perfection Mousse Foundation. And I wanted to try this because it was new. I try a lot of Catrice products when they just come out, but this is definitely not made for me. This is a more of like a mattifying product, and when I put this on, it was like my skin ate the stuff. I got zero coverage out of this. It just kind of I put it on and it was like, it just disappeared. And I couldn't blend it out with a sponge. I had to apply this with my fingers to make it work a little bit. But I think that if you have oily skin, this might work for you, because then the oils you produce naturally will kind of blend together with the product. So it's definitely not aimed at my skin type, but I wanted to try it. This, I believe, also has a very atrocious shade range. The True Skin is a lot better. They have like 30 or 35 shades in that. But this is in 010 Neutral Nude, and I believe it comes in like 3 shades. I don't have that many like face products like blush, bronzer, or highlight. Everything that I tried this year in those categories was okay, save for this. This is the Natasha Denona Diamond and Glow. And this, it's not bad. It's just not what I was expecting it to do. And it just seems to have either gotten hard pan, but it became very, very difficult to pick up after a couple of uses. And I just bought the mini to try it because I had never tried a Natasha Denona cheek product before, and I heard lots of people raving about it. I like the pinky shade that you get in here. It's really pretty. It's just, I just get sparkle and I don't get any shade, even though at first I did. So I feel that this product, after using it for like a month or so, it just kind of like sealed over, and no matter what I tried, I've already tried the tape trick and everything, people. It's no longer working for me. So that's why I do want to try some more Natasha Denona cheek products, because I think that because this is a mini, I think that might be the reason why I sometimes feel that brands, when they do these mini versions, it's like nice to try it, but it's not always the same quality that you get in a full size. You know what I mean? So that's why I would like to try some more Natasha Denona cheek products, but this one wasn't it. And let's just talk about lipstick for a minute, because lipstick, I have decided that I just have a few things that I really like when it comes to lipstick, and I should just ignore everything else that I have and that I try, because it just, nothing can top them. But I tried a couple of things where I was truly like, this year, really? Again, Maybelline. These are their Super Stay Ink Crayons. I think these came out in 2019, and I bought a few when I was in the US. First of all, the shade range in this was very strange. They didn't have a lot of distinct shades. Everything sort of like looked like it was like variations of the same shade, which didn't really work for me. So this nude was way too deep, and this red was okay, but I don't know. And I thought that these could be great because I love the Super Stay matte ink like liquid lipsticks. Those are some of my favorites. So I thought, ooh, if this is in a crayon version and it stays put the same way, I know I'm going to love it. But there's just something weird about this formula where I don't mind a liquid lipstick that has that dry down feeling. With these, it just felt like a crayon. These feel like a Crayola crayon going onto your lips. Very tuggy. These just aren't great. And for how much wear I get out of these and the faff I have to just get these onto my lips, because they are very skinny lipsticks, like they're very skinny. It just doesn't cover my lips all that well. I think if you have much smaller lips than me, like my bottom lip is like, boo, right out there. So I need to, in order to cover my bottom lip, I have to, like, that already takes me 5 minutes with these. So it just wasn't perfect for what I want out of a lipstick. And I just wish the shade range was a bit better. I'm going to continue to use some of my other Maybelline lipsticks that I love and adore, but these just weren't it. And then we need to talk Essence. They released the Stay Matte 8-Hour Liquid Lipstick at the start of the year. And I did a full video on these, so if you'd like to see how these go on, I'm just holding up one of them. I think there were like 8 different shades or maybe 10. I used all of the shades on my lips in that video, and this was drying. It showed all the lines in my lips, and it just, this is the kind of liquid lipstick formula that you don't want. At least I don't. I don't mind a little bit of a dry down, but I still want my lips to look smooth and not like the life has sucked out of them, you could say. So this didn't live up to my expectations for sure. I will leave the video linked in the eye above for you so that you can have a look. And then the last lipstick I want to show you is the Catrice Clean ID Ultra High Shine Lipstick line. They came out with this in the fall time, so towards the end of the year, and I was super excited for this because I've really fallen in love with like creamier, glossier lips, and I was like, ooh, ultra high shine, vegan, gluten-free, 95% natural ingredients. I was like, yes, Catrice. It even comes in cardboard packaging. I thought this looked really, really good until I tried the shades. This is the lightest nude. It's like a very great, it wasn't great. These on the lips just didn't work very well because they were, just the undertones were not flattering on me. And it probably has to do with my natural lip color as well, which is quite like pinky purple. I've got a very dark natural lip color. Like I could get away with just wearing lip balm. Like that's it. And people would think I would wear a lipstick. And with these, I just felt that my natural lip color came through them a little bit too much. The formula, which is not the best for me, and the shades just weren't right for me either. So I didn't rate these very highly because of that reason. They just didn't give me what I expect. Catrice do some lovely lipsticks. If there is a brand that makes some of my favorite lipsticks at the drugstore, it would be Catrice. So it's such a shame that they couldn't keep the quality train going and make this as good as some of their other lipsticks. But yeah, this Clean ID line, it was definitely one of my least favorite lipsticks I tried in 2020. And then we have eyeshadows left. And Essence and Catrice are two brands that have really been working on their eyeshadow palette quality, I feel, in the past couple of years. But then sometimes they throw something out there and you're like, what? The Essence Witch Side palette. Look, the eyes move, which, before I drive you crazy, this color story is really nice. It's cool toned. You get some like rosy things on this side and some deeper grungy things with like a really stunning, seemingly stunning navy blue on the other side. It has, those were fireworks. It has a few of these like flaky Huda Beauty kind of shades. And especially Wicked is quite lovely. It's a taupe, but it has a green sort of shift to it. And also Haunted, this taupe over here, those worked okay on me. Everything else kind of just blended away, and these flaky shades, they were very difficult to pick up with a brush. So I know Essence can do a lot better than this, and I've already seen this palette popping up at TJ Maxx. Because I don't think anyone really wanted this. So yeah, that can sort of give you an inkling of how many people actually picked up this palette. So I would not recommend this one if you can still find it somewhere. It's not complete trash. It's got a couple of really nice shades, but no more than 2 or 3, and the palette is just a bit big and bulky for it to warrant only so few shades to be actually good. And then a palette that greatly disappointed me when I tried it this year was the Cosmetics Grimoire eyeshadow palette. And this is a UK indie brand, if you've never heard of them. They do makeup inspired by like witchcraft and things like that. So the aesthetic of the brand was just so up my street, and I had been eyeing up their their website a few times in the past. I had just never tried anything by them because I wasn't sure about the quality. And then they announced this at the start of 2020. And you know how I feel about cool tones, so I was like, I'm going to be all over that thing. So I think I ordered it at the start of the year, and then I ended up trying it, I think around the summer, I finally got to use it. And I was just, this palette, this is one of those palettes that looks great in swatches, but that on the eye just don't really translate the same. That's how I would describe it. So when I got it, I also felt a little bit cheated because this and this is a pressed glitter, and it doesn't say anywhere in the marketing, not on Instagram, not on their website, not on any of the boxes, that this comes with pressed glitters. So I thought I was going to get two really stunning shimmers, and then I didn't. So that was a bit, it just wasn't the best. And then these greens all kind of looked the same once I put them on the eye. They really muddy together. There's a couple of shades like up here, this like blue tone, and like these three shades I rate super highly, super duper highly. Those are lovely shades. So there's nothing really wrong with the quality of these eyeshadows per se. It's just that on my very fair skin, I can only do 2 looks with this, and they're both going to look like I was just punched in the face. And it's just not a good look. However, I think this shimmering black in the top right hand corner is so absolutely stinking beautiful that I'm going to try and see if I can salvage it once I do a declutter in 2021. And I actually have plans for this. So yeah, so because that's a shade I definitely want to keep because it's very unique to my makeup collection. I don't have a shimmering black like it anywhere else. So this palette does have some unique shades. It's just how the color story plays together on me and how everything blended. I have tried better eyeshadow in the past, and I have a lot of cool toned eyeshadow palettes for sure. So that's why this one was just a bit of a letdown for me. A disappointing palette that I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on is the Wired palette by Urban Decay. This got a lot of flack from a lot of people, and I got this because I never bought the electric. So I don't own that, and I've never owned it because the electric had a lot of blues, and I was like, all these blues look the same, and then I've got these random warm tones. So the color story of the electric never made sense for me, even though it was like fun brights. So I felt because this has more greens and like that minty shade and the purples and like the warm tones and then this like acid green kind of shade, I was like, this color story would just work on me a lot better. It's just that this minty shade barely shows up. And for me, the only shades that truly worked really well were these pressed pigments on this side of the palette. And for me, I think because it's Urban Decay, I can probably never get rid of this because I tend to not declutter any Urban Decay eyeshadow because I want to go back to them for reference very often as well. So if I've bought it, I tend to keep it around. But I think I have other bright shades in my eyeshadow palette collection that perform much better than this. I do have to say though that I own a version of Chaos in one of my Vice palettes, and this version of Chaos is slightly better than the one I have in my Vice palette. So it is a slightly better formula for sure, and I do think this color story works better for me than the electric. So from that point of view, I'm still happy that I got it. It's just you get really good quality in these 4 shades, and then these are a little bit lackluster. So for me, it wasn't great. So that's why this one had to make an appearance here. And then the honorable mention of this video, well, not so honorable because I'm talking about products that didn't really work for me very well. This is a palette I tried at the tail end of 2020, and I bought the pastels from Beauty Bay because I couldn't get my hands on the Menagerie Pastel Pup because Menagerie isn't shipping to Europe right now. So I thought, this is a brand I do have access to. I like the color story in here, nice Easter eggy kind of vibes. And I was like, I'm just going to give this a whirl and see it and try it. And these are the kind of shadows, again, swatch beautifully, and they also go on quite nicely at first. Of course, they are very light, so in order to make them pop, it's best to work with some sort of base, perhaps a little bit of a sticky base even to really make them stand out. And even though this is an all matte palette, I would still recommend you use a sticky base, because what I found when I was using these is that they fell off my eyes throughout the day. So these are the kind of shadows that look really great when you first put them on. You can make these really nice editorial looks, like their Instagram is filled with pretty looks that people have done with this, but it doesn't wear well throughout the day. In fact, in order to get full opacity with these shades, I felt I had to use my finger and wet my brush in order to really pack on the shade. And then I felt the layer of shadow was a bit too thick perhaps, and I just had like chunks of eyeshadow missing from my lids at the end of the day. Like it didn't even pull in just in the crease, like it did that too, but I had this like whole inner corner where I used this really pretty yellow shade and it had just fallen off. So perhaps I used too much product, which is why that probably happened, but I felt I had to use that much product to really get the color payoff that I wanted from this. So these are not my favorite pastels. Like I said, when you first put this on, it looks really nice. It's very nicely blended. These do not blend away, which a lot of pastels just do. So it's got a couple of really good things going for it, but no, no for me. This is not what I want in a pastel palette. I am therefore still lusting after the Menagerie Pastel Pup. This did not satisfy my itch for a good pastel palette. So there you have it. Those are my 10, 11-ish least favorite products of 2020 that I just think weren't necessarily for me. Like some of this, just especially the complexion products like the foundations, I can see these work on people when they film videos with them and I'm like, I want to love you, why don't you work for me? Especially with that Catrice foundation. But I used it for a month straight, and no matter what primer I was using, I tried it with different primers, different powders, I just couldn't get it to look nice on my face. So that's why I sadly had to put it in this video. But yeah, I've got lots more content coming your way towards the end of the year. We're definitely going to end it on a very positive note. So I hope you would like to stay tuned because I have videos coming with my favorite products of the year as well. So see you in my next video. Bye bye.